I'm Detective John Carter, and my partner is Gruck, an orc with a keen mind for investigation. Together, we're an unlikely duo on the joint human-orc space station orbiting the mesmerizing Crimson Nebula. Life here is a delicate balance of coexistence between our races, a symbol of peace in a vast, often unforgiving galaxy. Our latest case, a series of mysterious disappearances on the station, had the entire community on edge. Both humans and orcs had vanished without a trace, leaving behind a trail of questions and fear. The disappearances were linked to a restricted sector of the station, a place shrouded in secrecy and off-limits to regular personnel. Navigating the station's corridors, a blend of human and orcish architecture, we sensed the growing unease among the crew. Whispers filled the air, speculating on the fate of the missing individuals. Gruck's deep, guttural voice broke the silence. Something sinister is at play here, John. We must tread carefully. Our first clue led us to an abandoned section near the restricted area. The air was stale, the lighting dim, casting long shadows that seemed to dance on the walls. As we moved cautiously, our footsteps echoed, amplifying the sense of isolation. Investigating further, we stumbled upon a hidden access panel, cleverly disguised to blend with the surrounding structure. Gruck's strength proved invaluable as he pried it open, revealing a narrow, dark passage that delved deeper into the station's bowels. The passage was cramped and cold, the walls lined with pipes and cables. We advanced in silence, our lights cutting through the darkness, uncovering layers of dust and long-forgotten debris. It was a place forgotten by time, yet it held the key to unraveling the mystery that gripped the station. As we delved deeper, the sense of foreboding grew. The station, a testament to human and orcish collaboration, now harbored a secret that threatened to unravel the fragile peace we had worked so hard to maintain. In the heart of the Crimson Nebula, a tale of intrigue and danger was unfolding, and Gruck and I were at its center, determined to uncover the truth. The passage led us deeper into the station, to an area that felt untouched by time or maintenance. The further we ventured, the more the air grew thick with the scent of chemicals and decay. Gruck and I exchanged wary glances, our instincts on high alert. As we reached the end of the passage, we found ourselves before a sealed door, its existence unrecorded in any of the station's official blueprints. With a concerted effort, Gruck forced the door open, revealing a scene that neither of us were prepared for. Inside was a concealed laboratory, its existence a blatant violation of the station's regulations. The lab was a chaotic mix of advanced scientific equipment and haphazard experimentation. Vials of unknown substances, strange machinery, and data screens filled with complex formulas and biological data cluttered the space. The most chilling discovery, however, were the containment units lining one wall. They were empty now, but their presence suggested something sinister, illegal experiments conducted on both humans and orcs. The implications were disturbing and far-reaching. Before we could investigate further, the lab's security system sprang to life. Drones, armed with non-lethal but incapacitating weaponry, emerged from hidden compartments in the ceiling. Caught off guard, we found ourselves in a dangerous standoff. With quick thinking and precise shots from my blaster, we managed to disable the drones. But the noise and commotion had surely alerted whoever was behind this operation. We needed to act fast. John, we must gather evidence and get out before reinforcements arrive, Gruck urged, his voice steady despite the urgency of the situation. We worked quickly, downloading data from the lab's computers and taking samples of the substances we found. The evidence we collected would be crucial in unraveling the conspiracy that was unfolding on the station. Our escape from the lab was a narrow one. As we retraced our steps through the passage, the sound of approaching security echoed behind us. We emerged back into the familiar corridors of the station, our discovery weighing heavily on us. The station, a symbol of unity and cooperation, was now the center of a dark plot that threatened the delicate balance between our races. Gruck and I knew that what we had uncovered was just the tip of the iceberg. The real challenge was still ahead, exposing the conspiracy and bringing those responsible to justice. Back in the safety of our office, Gruck and I began to analyze the data we had extracted from the hidden laboratory. The more we delved into the files, the clearer it became that we were dealing with a conspiracy of staggering proportions. High-ranking officials from both human and Orcish administrations appeared to be involved, their motives shrouded in secrecy. As we pieced together the information, a picture started to emerge. The experiments conducted in the lab were part of a larger plan, one that seemed to transcend the usual power struggles and politics of the station. This was about something much darker, an agenda that could jeopardize the fragile peace between humans and orcs. Our investigation, however, did not go unnoticed. It wasn't long before we encountered direct opposition. During the late-night analysis session, our office was suddenly raided by station security. Gruck and I fought back, but we were outnumbered. In the chaos, Gruck was captured, his massive frame subdued by the sheer number of security officers. I managed to evade capture, hiding in the ducts that ran throughout the station. My heart pounded as I heard Gruck being taken away, his roars of defiance gradually fading into the distance. I knew I had to act fast if I was going to save my partner and expose the conspiracy. The station, once a beacon of interspecies collaboration and a symbol of a hopeful future, now felt like a trap, its corridors and chambers harboring secrets and dangers I had never imagined. I needed to find Gruck and get to the bottom of this plot before it was too late. With determination and a plan forming in my mind, I set out to infiltrate the group behind the illegal experiments. It was a risky move, but it was the only way to find Gruck and uncover the full extent of the conspiracy. Click the like button and subscribe if you like our stories. As I navigated the station's hidden passageways, I couldn't help but feel the weight of what was at stake. The safety of the station's inhabitants, the relationship between humans and orcs, and the very ideals the station stood for were all in jeopardy. I was determined to uncover the truth and bring those responsible to justice, no matter the cost. My infiltration into the group behind the experiments was a dive into the unknown. Disguised and using every trick I knew, I moved through the station's underbelly, gathering information and tracking down leads. The deeper I delved, the more complex and disturbing the conspiracy became. It was a network that spanned beyond the station, implicating figures in both human and Orcish governments. The breakthrough came when I discovered the location of a secret meeting among the conspirators. Risking exposure, I managed to eavesdrop on their conversation. They spoke of a plan to create a bioweapon using the research from the illegal experiments, a weapon that could be used to manipulate and control both humans and orcs for their nefarious purposes. The implications were horrifying. If the bioweapon was completed, it would not only endanger everyone on the station but potentially lead to an interspecies conflict of unimaginable proportions. I knew I had to act fast to prevent this catastrophe. I also learned of Gruck's whereabouts. He was being held in a high-security cell, deep within a sector of the station controlled by the conspirators. The plan to rescue him was fraught with danger, but I was determined to save my partner and put an end to the sinister plot. As I navigated the corridors towards Gruck's location, the weight of responsibility bore heavily on me. The fate of the station, the delicate peace between humans and orcs, and the lives of countless individuals rested in the balance. I steeled myself for what was to come, knowing that the next few hours would decide the future of the Crimson Nebula space station. Under the cover of darkness, I made my way stealthily towards the high-security sector where Gruk was being held. The station, usually a hub of activity, now felt like a labyrinth of secrets and shadows, each turn potentially leading to danger. Upon reaching the holding area, I realized the gravity of the situation. Security was tight, with surveillance drones and armed guards at every checkpoint. I relied on my years of detective experience and the knowledge of the station's layout to evade detection, moving closer to where Gruk was imprisoned. As I infiltrated deeper, I stumbled upon an unexpected ally, Dr. Sarah, an orc scientist who was being forced to work on the bioweapon project. Our first encounter was tense. She mistook me for one of the conspirators. However, I quickly explained my mission, and to my relief, she believed me. In her, I found not just an ally but a kindred spirit, someone who was fighting her own battle against the corruption and evil that had infiltrated the station. Dr. Sarah provided crucial information about the project and the security protocols of the area. With her help, I formulated a plan to rescue Gruk and sabotage the bioweapon. There was a spark between us, an unspoken connection forged in the face of adversity. In Dr. Sarah, I found an unexpected source of strength and resolve. The rescue mission was risky, requiring precise timing and coordination. Dr. Sarah guided me through the station's security systems, helping me to reach Gruk's cell undetected. The reunion with Gruk was a moment of relief and renewed determination. His resilience, despite the ordeal, was inspiring. Together, the three of us began to put our escape plan into action. It was a race against time, with the fate of the station and its inhabitants hanging in the balance. We were prepared to do whatever it took to stop the conspirators in their heinous plans. With Gruk freed and Dr. Sarah at our side, we moved swiftly to execute the next phase of our plan, sabotaging the bioweapon project and escaping the high-security sector. The station's labyrinthine corridors were a challenge, but with Dr. Sarah's intimate knowledge of the lab and its operations, we navigated through them, avoiding patrols and surveillance. Our plan was daring and fraught with risk. We aimed to infiltrate the lab where the bioweapon was being developed and plant a device that would render the weapon inoperable. Dr. Sarah, despite her fears, was determined to see the end of the project she had been forced to work on. As we neared the lab, the tension among us grew. Every step took us closer to danger, but our resolve remained firm. Gruk, towering and formidable, was a reassuring presence, his loyalty and strength unwavering. Upon entering the lab, we were met with a scene of controlled chaos. Scientists and technicians moved about, unaware of the impending sabotage. Dr. Sarah guided us to the core of the project, where the bioweapon was being finalized. Our window of opportunity was narrow, and our actions needed to be precise. However, just as we were about to implement our plan, an alarm blared through the lab. We had been discovered. A group of security officers ambushed us, their weapons drawn. A tense standoff ensued, with us surrounded and outnumbered. In that critical moment, our alliance was put to the test. The three of us, a human detective, an orc scientist, and an orc warrior, stood united against a common enemy. The future of the station and the safety of its inhabitants depended on the outcome of this confrontation. The ambush in the lab was a turning point in our mission. Surrounded and outnumbered, it looked like the end for us. But Gruk, with his immense strength and combat skills, managed to turn the tide. He created a diversion, allowing Dr. Sarah and me to access the lab's mainframe and initiate the sabotage of the bioweapon. As Gruk held off the security forces, Dr. Sarah and I worked frantically. Her expertise was crucial, guiding my actions as I manipulated the lab's systems to render the bioweapon harmless. The stakes were high, and every second counted. The plan, however, came with a cost. During our escape, Dr. Sarah was seriously injured. A stray shot from one of the security officers hit her, and she collapsed. I rushed to her side, lifting her into my arms. Her bravery and determination, even in the face of such pain, only deepened the connection I felt towards her. With Gruck covering us, we made our way out of the lab, the disabled bioweapon left behind us. The station was in turmoil, the alarm echoing through the corridors, signaling the unraveling of the conspiracy we had fought so hard to expose. Our escape was a blur of adrenaline and urgency. We navigated through the chaotic station, desperate to reach safety and get Dr. Sarah the medical attention she needed. Every step was a struggle, but we pressed on, driven by the need to survive and the hope of ending the nightmare that had gripped the station. In those harrowing moments, as I carried Dr. Sarah through the danger, I realized the depth of my feelings for her. The crisis had brought us together, and in the midst of the chaos, a bond had formed between us, strong and undeniable. She was more than a colleague or an ally. She was someone I had come to care for deeply, someone I couldn't bear to lose. As we made our way through the station, the reality of our situation became clear. The conspiracy we had uncovered reached far deeper than any of us had imagined. The station was in chaos, with factions clashing over control and truth. Our immediate goal was to confront the station's commander, the mastermind behind the conspiracy. With Dr. Sarah injured but stable, Gruck and I left her in a safe hideout and moved towards the command center. The corridors echoed with the sounds of conflict, a station torn apart by betrayal and fear. Reaching the command center, I confronted the commander, revealing the extent of his crimes to the entire station through the communication systems. The commander, a figure of authority and respect, now stood exposed as the architect of a plan that could have led to unimaginable destruction. The final showdown was intense. Gruck and I, against the commander and his loyalists, fought not just for our lives, but for the future of the station and the peace it represented. Blaster fire, shouts, and the clashing of Gruck's brute strength against the commander's guards filled the air. In the midst of the battle, the commander made a desperate move. He initiated a sequence to overload the station's core, threatening to destroy the entire structure and everyone on it. The stakes had never been higher. With the station on the brink of destruction, the battle reached its climax. Gruck and I managed to overpower the commander, but not before he had inflicted critical damage to the command center. Alarms blared, warning of the impending catastrophe. In those moments of triumph mixed with impending doom, I realized the true cost of our fight for justice. The station, a symbol of unity between humans and orcs, now teetered on the edge of oblivion, its fate hanging by a thread. Our victory over the commander was overshadowed by the need to save the station and prevent the disaster he had set in motion. The command center was in ruins, the aftermath of our confrontation with the station's commander. Warning lights flashed and alarms blared, indicating the critical state of the station's core. Gruck and I, amid the chaos, knew we had little time to prevent a catastrophe. I raced to the control panels, frantically trying to stabilize the core. The complex systems of the station, usually a harmonious symphony of technology, were now a cacophony of warning signals and system failures. Every second counted as I worked to reverse the overload process initiated by the commander. Meanwhile, Gruck, using his strength and knowledge of the station's physical layout, began manually overriding critical systems. His actions were crucial in buying us time, allowing me to focus on the technical aspects of averting the disaster. Amidst our efforts, I couldn't help but think of Dr. Sarah. Injured and alone, she was waiting for us to return. Her bravery and resolve had been instrumental in getting us this far. The connection we had formed, born out of shared adversity, was a beacon of hope in these dark moments. As I navigated the control systems, a glimmer of hope emerged. The overload process began to slow, the warning lights dimming slightly. It was a sign that our efforts were making an impact, but we were not out of danger yet. The station shuddered, a groan of metal and machinery echoing through the corridors. It was a race against time and the laws of physics. The core stability was on a knife edge, the balance between salvation and destruction. In those moments, as Gruck and I worked side by side, the fate of the Crimson Nebula space station and all its inhabitants hung precariously in the balance. Our actions would determine whether this symbol of human-orc cooperation would stand as a testament to unity or become a tragic reminder of the fragile nature of peace and trust in the galaxy. With a combination of Gruck's physical prowess and my technical skills, we finally managed to stabilize the station's core. The alarm ceased, and the warning lights faded, replaced by the steady hum of normal operations. We had averted a disaster, but the station was still reeling from the effects of the conspiracy. In the aftermath, the station's security forces took control, arresting those involved in the conspiracy. The corrupt officials, both human and orc, were detained, awaiting trial for their crimes. The truth about the illegal experiments in the planned bioweapon was revealed, sending shockwaves throughout the station's community. I rushed back to where I had left Dr. Sarah, my thoughts consumed with her safety. Upon finding her, a wave of relief washed over me. She was weak but alive, her injuries being tended to by the station's medical team. In that moment, sitting beside her in the medical bay, I realized the depth of my feelings for her. She was more than just a colleague or a fellow fighter in our struggle. She had become the most important person in my life. The station was slowly returning to normal, but the events had left an indelible mark on everyone. The conspiracy had shaken the foundation of trust between humans and orcs, but it had also shown the strength of unity and cooperation in the face of adversity. As I sat with Dr. Sarah, holding her hand, I knew that our journey together was just beginning. We had faced danger and uncovered dark truths, but we had also found something rare and beautiful amidst the chaos, a connection that transcended our differences. Click the like button and subscribe if you like our stories. In the quiet of the medical bay, with the vastness of space outside the window, I felt a sense of hope for the future. The Crimson Nebula case had brought us together, and now we looked forward to a new chapter, one filled with possibilities and the promise of a shared life. As the station gradually returned to its regular rhythm, Dr. Sarah's recovery became a symbol of resilience and hope. Her bravery in the face of coercion and her vital role in thwarting the conspiracy earned her the respect and admiration of both human and Orcish crew members. The walls of mistrust that had once divided us were crumbling, replaced by a newfound sense of camaraderie and solidarity. In the days that followed, Dr. Sarah and I found ourselves drawn closer together, not just by the ordeal we had endured, but by a mutual understanding and a shared vision for the future. Our conversations, once dominated by strategies and tactics, now ventured into the realms of hopes, dreams, and aspirations. We decided to collaborate on a project to ensure that such heinous experiments never occurred again. Our joint effort was not only a way to safeguard the station, but also a testament to the unity that had emerged from the chaos. It was our way of turning a dark chapter into a force for positive change. Our work brought us even closer, and it wasn't long before our professional relationship evolved into something deeper. We acknowledged our feelings for each other, embarking on a journey that was both personal and profound. The station, once a place of conflict and secrets, had become the setting for a blossoming romance. Our story, a tale of intrigue, danger, and unexpected love, spread throughout the station, serving as a reminder of the good that can emerge from adversity. The Crimson Nebula, once just a backdrop to our investigations, now symbolize the beauty and mystery of the universe and the endless possibilities it held for us. Together, Dr. Sarah and I looked forward to a future where we could continue to make a difference, standing side by side as partners in life and in our mission to uphold justice and integrity in the cosmos. The station, a beacon in the vastness of space, had become a home, a place where our shared story would continue to unfold. The Crimson Nebula case had come to a close, but its legacy endured in the corridors and hearts of those aboard the space station. Dr. Sarah and I, now united not just by a shared past but by a deep love and a common purpose, stood together as symbols of the unity and strength that had emerged from the chaos. The station had been through a dark period, its peace and trust severely tested. Yet, in the aftermath, a new dawn emerged. Humans and orcs, once divided by suspicion and fear, now worked side by side, rebuilding what had been broken and forging a stronger bond based on mutual respect and understanding. Dr. Sarah and I often found ourselves gazing out at the Crimson Nebula, its swirling colors a constant reminder of the vast and mysterious universe we were a part of. It was a universe filled with challenges and dangers, but also with beauty and opportunities for new beginnings. As we stood hand in hand, looking out at the nebula, we knew that our journey was far from over. There were still many mysteries to unravel, injustices to fight, and stories to be told. Together, we were ready to face whatever the future held, drawing strength from our love and the lessons we had learned. The station continued its orbit, a beacon of hope and cooperation in the vast expanse of space. It was a testament to the idea that even in the darkest of times, light could be found, that from conflict and fear, love and unity could emerge. As I conclude this chapter of the story, I turn to you, the reader. Write in the comments below the video, what do you think about this story? Do you think the characters did the right thing? Click the like button and subscribe if you like our stories. Our story, set against the backdrop of the Crimson Nebula, was a reminder that in the infinite tapestry of the cosmos, the most powerful force is the human heart, capable of overcoming fear, bridging divides, and finding love in the most unexpected places.